I think we'd be taking a victory lap if we would have won.
Of course we were.
I will say there is nothing more exhilarating than an overtime hockey game that really does have meaning to it, even though you're not playing for anything other than national pride. But there's nothing more deflating than losing that overtime hockey game, especially after there were numerous chances to win it on the stick of Austin Matthews. And I don't know, Jordan Binnington was amazing. He's the goalie for Canada. He plays for the St. Louis Blues. That performance that he had last night was much like the performance he had when the Blues won the Stanley Cup against Boston in that building.
Yeah.
So when we were going into this whole thing, we said, okay, there's really good balance on both sides of the rosters, and maybe the slight difference is going to be the best goalie in the world. That's Connor Hellebuck, who was the USA goalie, versus Jordan Binnington. Maybe he would give up a goal here or there, and maybe we would end up winning. But the couple saves that he made in overtime last night were just awesome. The whole thing was awesome. I congratulate the NHL. I really, really do congratulate the players. It was an amazing experience. And what were they playing for? They were playing for pride. They love their game. The culture of their game is in such a great spot. The younger players on both of these teams are going to turn out to be superstars themselves. As a hockey fan, as a dyed-in-the-wool hockey fan, I loved every minute of it. I watched almost every single minute of every single game.
Yeah, and
so it to me, while it's disappointing, I wake up this morning, I know it was an exhibition. I would have loved to have won it, G. All I can tell you is that, man, these guys played their asses off, and a lot of guys are injured because of it, which now begs the question, what's more important, the NHL season or an in-season tournament or a mid-season tournament that really doesn't have any effect or doesn't have any effect whatsoever on the outcome of the NHL season?
So then there's a very specific injury and specific player that this speaks to, and that's Matthew Tkachuk.
Well, it's also Charlie McAvoy for the Bruins.
Yeah, but last night especially, and the reason why too is, and because Charlie McAvoy, there was no doubt about it. Like, he had his arm in a sling when he was gassing everybody up in the dressing room before the game. But with Tkachuk last night, I'm pretty sure that one of the Panthers' doctors is there. You know, with this team.
You're not playing.
Right. So there was like the answer to that question. And Emily Kaplan said that if there was another power play at some point, maybe in the overtime or the end, that he was probably going to be out there for that. But other than that he wasn't going to get on the ice.
I mean, it's a part of it. They lost Cal McCarr in the previous game. He was sick. And, he obviously is a difference maker. But these two teams are so tight and so talented. And, again, as a hockey fan, I appreciate the effort that these players put forth. This was so much more than an exhibition. And I think maybe geopolitical influences, have something going on. And
no doubt, but that's great. Yeah, I mean, some of the greatest moments in sports have happened during those times.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's the Russians, United States back in 1980. It's
some of the Olympic stuff that's gone on over
exactly.
here. I mean, it's that is, when you get that cross-pollination of those things, I mean, people get really emotional about it. And I did end up going out for the first period because I just wanted to. I had some energy. I was like, let me go out with a couple buddies for the first period. And I was curious to see what it would be like. That people are on break, with teachers and stuff. So there's some people that are, don't have work on Friday. But, I mean, the place was just jammed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
With
people loved
all USA paraphernalia, not just like hockey jerseys, but just hats with flags and everything. And they were totally into it. And it was a fun thing to experience. And, I think that all of us, including myself, have maybe looked too deep into this whole thing, and we're dissecting every little bit of it. This morning it's sort of like, this was fun. This was a really good thing. It was fun. It came at the right time, at a slow time in sports, and we all enjoyed it. It sucks that Canada beat us in the final, but this is like a positive, good thing in the end, and there's no reason to have negative feelings about this tournament. You can be pissed off today because we lost, but by the way, was it Austin Matthews? Was he getting a little lazy there on that thing?
Yeah, well, I would say lazy, but, he's a little tired. I mean, he's going back and forth 200 feet, and all of a sudden, you're playing against who many consider the greatest player of his era, Connor McDavid, is sitting there. I mean, it happened. All I can tell you is, I was thinking, man, I just don't want to see Sidney Crosby score again in overtime and beat the U.S.
Was that 15 years ago now?
I mean, the interesting thing is, too, is Mitch Marner was a big part of a couple of the goals last night.
I've seen him shirtless.
Yeah, I know you have.
Yeah,
and Mitch is a good dude, man. I sent him
think all of us
congratulations last
saw
night.
him shirtless.
Yes, you did at Sydney's wedding. Yes.
If you guys stayed long enough, you saw him shirtless.
Yeah,
Mitch
they
Marner.
saw him. They saw him shirtless. I think
Actually,
I saw Al shirtless too.
That was my cue to leave when all the hockey players were shirtless and on tables. So,
Yeah.
all right.
You're out. See ya. No, I mean, it's like I said, it's probably the best thing that could happen to the sport. For those of us who love the sport and are now on to the regular season again, and the Rangers have back-to-back this weekend, which is amazing. And for the Ranger players are going to have to figure out somehow, some way, and Ray Ferraro was talking about this last night, how do you get yourself back up to get back into your job? It's going to take a week or so, but I don't know. I loved every minute of the whole thing. All these games, with the exception of one, was a blowout. And that was U.S. Versus Finland, and every game was tight. Every game was, all came down to the end. I mean, that's exactly what you want. So it's disappointing you lose, but it's also exhilarating to see the best in the world put the effort forth for their countries. And I love the patriotism on both sides.